Welcome to Awaken Stories. Today we follow a journey of mental transformation, proving that happiness is a skill we build. Jaden opens his eyes and immediately feels the heavy, familiar blanket of anxiety pressing down on his chest this morning. Despite having a stable job and a comfortable home, his first thought is always a deep hatred for the day. He has unknowingly trained his brain to scan for problems, ignoring the safety and comfort that surrounds him every day. His mind acts like a radar for negativity, filtering out the smiles of strangers and the beauty of the morning. As an accountant, he is precise with numbers, but he has miscalculated the value of his own life experiences completely. Every evening ends the same way, exhausted not from physical labor, but from the mental weight of carrying constant pessimism. The turning point arrived last month, when Sarah finally packed her bags, unable to bear the weight of his gloom. She told him she could no longer wake up next to someone who resented the gift of being alive daily. Left alone with his thoughts, Jaden sat in the park, wondering why happiness seemed so natural for everyone but him. An old man with kind eyes sat beside him, sensing the dark cloud that seemed to follow Jaden everywhere. The stranger spoke softly, telling Jaden that happiness is not a gift from the gods, but a skill we practice. He explained that Jaden had spent years practicing unhappiness, becoming an expert at finding faults in a perfect world. Your brain builds highways for the thoughts you repeat, making it easier to feel sad and harder to feel joy. He offered a solution, a simple 5-minute exercise to rewire the brain and break the cycle of morning dread. Jaden took the advice home, skeptical that such a small action could fix a lifetime of deep-seated emotional patterns. The rule was simple. Before touching the phone or stepping on the floor, write down 3 specific things to appreciate. He stared at the blank page, realizing how difficult it was to find gratitude when his mind was so cold. The first few days felt ridiculous and forced, like trying to write with his non-dominant hand in the dark. He struggled to look past the generalities, forcing himself to notice small details instead of writing vague, meaningless cliches. The old man had insisted on specificity, not just being thankful for rain, but for the sound it makes falling. By the 5th day, the feeling of dread was still there, but the routine was slowly creating a small pause. He persisted through the awkwardness, trusting the process simply because he had no other option left to save himself. Then, something shifted. During his commute, he found himself scanning the environment for material to use for tomorrow morning. He was no longer just walking, he was hunting for goodness, actively searching for positive data to feed his brain. The neural pathways were beginning to reroute. The brain was learning that scanning for beauty was a priority for survival. Instead of ignoring his colleague, he focused intensely on the warmth of the cup and the kindness of the gesture. The exercise was bleeding into his day. He was collecting moments of gratitude like treasures to be recorded and cherished. Waking up was no longer a battle. The heavy blanket of anxiety had lifted, replaced by a quiet sense of curiosity. He wrote about the light, the smell of toast, and the silence of the morning with a newfound sense of peace. He returned to the park, not to wallow in envy, but to enjoy the same scenery that once made him miserable. The old man was there, watching the transformation. He didn't need to ask. The change in Jaden's energy was visible. 30 days later, the miracle happened. The first thought upon waking was not dread, but a question. What is good today? His life circumstances had not changed. He had the same job, the same apartment, but he was living in a different world. He called Sarah, not to beg for her return, but to thank her for the wake-up call that saved his life. She could hear the shift in his tone, a lightness that had been missing for years, replacing the old heavy burden. Gratitude had spilled over from his notebook into his actions, making him a magnet for positive interactions and new opportunities. He realized that we cannot control the chaos of the world, but we have absolute dominion over where we focus. The lens through which we view the world determines the movie we are living in, whether it is a tragedy or a romance. Happiness is not a destination you reach. It is a muscle you exercise every single morning before your feet touch the floor. By training his brain to hunt for the good, Jaden proved that a grateful heart is the strongest shield against despair. The alarm clock is no longer a siren of doom, but a starting gun for a new treasure hunt of joy. Life is filled with millions of tiny miracles that we miss simply because we are too busy looking for the problems. When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change, revealing beauty in the most ordinary places. He finally understood the old man's secret. You don't need a new life to be happy. You just need new eyes. Now, Jaden passes the gift along, sharing the simple tool that rescued him from the darkness of his own mind. It starts with 3 small things. 3 anchors to hold you steady when the waves of life try to knock you down. Today, Jaden is grateful for the journey, for the pain that forced him to grow, and for the peace he found. Imagine a world where we all start our day by counting our blessings instead of our burdens. How different life would be. Remember, the quality of your life is not determined by what happens to you, but by where you place your attention. Start your own practice tomorrow morning. Find 3 specific things, write them down, and watch your world begin to change color. Thank you for watching Awaken Stories. Remember to practice your happiness today and subscribe for more tales of profound transformation.